Today's Fun Fold panel card is such a joy to create, and it is super easy. Guys, this card is just a half a sheet of cardstock, and if you're familiar with flashcards, we're going to be using flashcards on my cards today. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thank you guys so much for joining me for today's Tuesday tip video. This card is such a fantastic one, and to make sure it's very easy for you, I even have a diagram to go along with the video so that when you go to recreate this card, it's going to be easy peasy double cheesy. So let me get started. I'm going to teach you how to create today's Fun Fold pop-out card. We're going to start with this one here. This is created with the Citrus Bloom stamp set. I used some peach pie and a little petunia pop. I thought those colors look so pretty together. And then you can see here on the back, we've got a place for you to write your message. And of course, I know how much you guys love a card that stands. This one definitely does that, and it's going to fit into a medium-sized envelope. Let's get started first with our stamping. I'm going to begin with an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of peach pie, and we're going to be using the Citrus Bloom stamp set. So this stamp set actually has two sets of fantastic orange blooms on it and orange fruit. I love anything with fruit. We're going to use this great big stamp along with a peach pie ink pad. And what I want to do is I'm basically going to kind of create my own designer series paper. So again, I've got that great big. This one has 3 oranges on it, and I'll just start right here in the middle. Again, it's going to have a really light tone-on-tone look because we're using the peach pie ink on top of peach pie cardstock. And all we want to do here, friends, is we just want to fill in everything here on the front of that cardstock. Now I want to really kind of make these oranges pop a little bit. So I'm going to bring in a small blending brush, and I'm just going to lightly blend some of the peach pie into those oranges. Again, just kind of giving them that little extra pop. Now we've got just a little, kind of a little decorative background stamp. And this one is great. It's going to fill in any of my blank spots. I always call them my bald spots. Whenever I have a little bald spot there in my card, whenever I'm creating my own designer series paper, I love to be able to use a stamp like this to kind of fill in. At the top of the video, I told you that I had a diagram to make creating this card easy. I love to make things easy for you. And this diagram is going to walk you through all of the scoring and the cutting you need for this card. In fact, not only do I have this diagram for free, I also have a download for you that's going to give you the supply list, the measurements. There's even a QR code. If you need to come back and watch the video again, you can click that. And also, if you're in the United States, friends, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And you can click this image here, or you can just follow that link. It'll take you right to my online store. You can order any of the supplies that I used on the card today. Friends, I would love to be your demonstrator, and I thank you so much for your support of the channel. With that, we are ready to follow our diagram to cut and score our card base. The first thing it tells us to do with the 8.5 at the top, we are going to score at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and lightly score at 6 3/8. So make sure your cutting blade is out of the way. We're not ready to cut yet. We're going to score at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. And then I'm going to swing out the arm here, and I'm going to score at 6 3/8. And that's the one you want to use a really, really light touch. The reason for that is that's actually a score line we're not really going to use that much, just a little bit of it. So I still need to be able to see it. So we are going to score just really lightly. Now it tells us to put the 5.5 inches up at the top, and we're going to cut 1 3/4 at 1 3/4 between the 2 1/8 and the 6 3/8. So here we go. We're going to go 1 3/4. I'm going to take my cutting blade, and hopefully you can see right here, we can just take the tick mark of the cutting blade, and that'll just sit right there at that 2 1/8 inch mark. We're going to come all the way down to the 6 3/8. So bringing that down. Again, there's that light score line. You're going to be able to see that hopefully, and you can cut to there. That's our first cut. We're going to rotate it around. Let's do that one more time. So again, there's that 6 3/8. We'll cut all the way up to that 2 1/8 inch mark. Guys, that's all there is to it. All right, that's what's going to create that really amazing fun fold. All right, let's put this bad boy together. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab right here in the middle. All right, there's a score line right there in the middle. And what you're going to do is you're going to just bring it over, and it's going to sit right on that side. You're ready to give everything a crease. All right, we'll get these down here. And that is the beginning of the fun fold. All right. So with this, we're ready to create whatever kind of image we want. I'm going to be creating with flashcards today. If you're not familiar with flashcards, this is a idea I came up with many, many years ago, where I cut up one sheet of cardstock and create 8 identical pieces of cardstock. So this is in Petunia Pop, 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. I got 8 of those out of a sheet of cardstock. And then I have a basic white, and this is a 2 1/2 by 4, and that's going to be my layering piece. By the way, I'll just put the link to the flashcard video if you want to check it out. I've got lots and lots of videos that feature just these 2 little pieces of paper. Let's do a little stamping. All right, now we're ready to bring in an early espresso ink pad. This is the image that's going to be on the front of my card. I'm going to start with my sentiment. You're the best kind of person. Fabulous sentiment. And can I say, love this font. We're going to stamp this right down in the bottom right corner. And now we're going to take the image that has just the single orange and the flowers on it. I'm going to ink that up. And friends, we're going to fill in this area right here. So just kind of get that lined up. We'll stamp that there. Let me set this off to the side because I'm going to go ahead, since I'm doing my stamping, I'm going to bring in, I've got a 4 by 5 1/4 basic white. This is where you're going to write your message. So this is what's going to go on the back of the card. And for this one, I don't want to use quite as much of the orange. So I'm going to come off that cardstock right up there in the upper left corner. All right, we're going to color this with our Stampin' Blends. I really love to create with Stampin' Blends. I've got the peach pie. I'm going to start with the dark. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to color. See all those little dots? They probably have some like real name, but it's the texture of the orange. I'm going to come anywhere with the dark that we have those little texture bumps. And now we'll come in with the light peach pie, and we're going to blend these together. So to do that, you just want to let the light touch that dark, and the alcohol in the Stampin' Right marker is going to pull the dark and the light together, and it gives it really, really great dimension. By the way, I'm going to repeat that right over here as well, okay? Next, let's come in with some Shy Shamrock. I think this looks really great. I love these colors. By the way, I didn't plan it this way, but these are all Stampin' Ups in colors for 2024, 2027. So I have Shy Shamrock Dark, and let's just hit the veins of the leaves. And then just like before, we're going to color in those leaves, letting the light Shy Shamrock hit the ink there that's in the dark, and it'll blend together and be really, really pretty. All right, now we're going to come in with the Petunia Pop. And just like we did before, I'm just going to hit kind of the little veins that are in our petals here of our flower. And we'll hit all of those in the dark. And now I can come in with the light, and we'll blend those together. Again, these colors, Petunia Pop, Shy Shamrock, and peach pie. Just beautiful. Our final color is the Stampin' Up! Deep combo. So this is the darkest of all of them. And if you've ever wondered why Stampin' Up! Does not have an early espresso Stampin' Blend, they actually do. And this is it. So we're going to color in the center of those flowers. And then let's go ahead. We're going to get our stem. And with that, our coloring is done. I'm going to bring in that petunia pop. Remember, that was a 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to adhere my beautiful little focal image. That will go right here. Let me go ahead and bring in my card. So there's my card. And this one, it's kind of interesting. When you go to adhere this, we want to center it in the card. But you notice this, we don't want adhesive there. So I kind of like to put my adhesive here on the card base itself. I'm going to put a couple strips of adhesive here kind of in the center of my little pop-up. And then I'm going to bring some down. It's a little hard because my cardstock is a little lumpy and bumpy underneath there. Let me try to open it up. That works a little bit better. All right. So again, I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to take my focal image. I'm going to line it up, centering it on all 4 sides. And there we go. So that's the beginning of my pop. Let's flip it over. And this is another odd one because we have this opening right here. So we're going to add adhesive again on the base itself. This piece that we're going to be adding is a 4 by 5 1/4. So I want you to kind of stay a little bit towards the inside when you put your adhesive here. I'll put a little bit there for good measure. Make sure I got this facing up. I'm going to take my message area to the back of our card, and that is how to create the fun fold. Now, this was a little boring to me right here, so I thought I'd bring in a little bit of Shy Shamrock ribbon. I love this bordered ribbon, and it really kind of brought out the Shy Shamrock and the leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it underneath here, okay? And let's just tie this in a bow. We'll trim away the excess, and friends, there you go. Isn't it a fun card? I love it. What a great place you can write your message. And of course, it's going to display beautifully. Let me show you the other card that I've created. Hey friends, don't forget about the free download I have for you that goes along with today's video. Remember, it has everything that you need. You'll have the measurements, the supply list, and the QR code, so you can come back and watch the video again. And yes, it'll have the diagram as well. You'll find it at simplysimplestamping.com, or if you look down in the YouTube description, I've got a direct link to today's post. This card was created with the brand new online exclusive Umbrella Days. And I love this. You are the umbrella on my rainy days. And there on the back, the storm will end and the sun will shine again. A great, great card of encouragement. And of course, whenever we have friends who need that little bit of encouragement, a card that stands is perfect. Let me show you some of the tips and tricks on this card. I have that same piece. The measurements are all the same, 5.5 by 8.5. I'm using Balmy Blue and Balmy Blue ink. And we've got these fabulous raindrops. And I want them to go at an angle. So I'm going to start right there in the middle. Just seems like a really good place to start. And we are going to just simply bring in these raindrops all over our card base. And we're going to do all this just like we did on the first card, so that we can give some really good dimensions, some great stamped images here before we do any of our scoring. Now we're going to do that scoring 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. We'll rotate it around. We'll set it at 1 3/4. And now we will cut in between those 2 score lines, rotate it around, and 1 3/4 there on the opposite side. There's the side that has that light score. So we're going to grab the center, bring it over, and then we can give all of these score lines a nice crease. We're now going to come in with Memento Black, and I just love this image. I really do. We're going to stamp our girl with the umbrella right here in the middle of the basic white. Remember, these scoring lines or these cutting lines are exactly the same. Now, this one I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to ink her up one more time, but I only want part of her to show. So we're just going to get, oh, I think I'll go ahead and get her rain boots in there. And you see, we just kind of get a little bit of her on the side, but there's this sweet little dog that just reminded me so much of my dog. So I decided to add her as well. I'm now going to add just a few more raindrops, okay? I don't want to go crazy with them, but I do want to kind of show some of that rain there. And then on this one, we're going to come here. It's going to follow that same angle that we did on the front of our card, but we'll add just a few raindrops right there. The coloring on this card is very easy. I've got the Daffodil Delight Dark, and I'm going to kind of trace out the lines here of the umbrella with the dark. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the rain boots. I'm not going to do any shading or anything on it. I want those rain boots to be in the dark daffodil. I've got the dark Highland Heather. And again, I just thought Balmy Blue and Highland Heather looked really, really pretty. Let's give her coat just a quick color with the dark, kind of like what we did before, just tracing. When you come in to blend, try to avoid her hair. We're going to give her little braid there another color. And for her hair, we're going to use the medium light. So this is the lightest of all the blends. So we're going to get her braid. And we're also going to color our little sweet little dog here. We're going to do that with this same color. It's just a really sweet little pup, and we want to make her look pretty. So for her jeans, I'm using the light Misty Moonlight. I've got one last little tip for you. One thing about these kinds of images is I don't like people floating in the air, all right? I want to ground the dog and the girl. I'm going to bring in a light Misty Moonlight, and I want to use the brush tip, and I'm simply going to just draw, okay? It's going, if it looks like, it's going to have little lines and things in it, it won't. It'll dry really, really nice. But now she's kind of a little more grounded. And again, our sweet little pup, we can't just have her just floating in midair. And we can come along here. You just want to kind of make sure everything is good and straight as far as if it's coming up and over the dog. We don't want the inside there. Again, we don't want it to be floating. So that's my fun little tip whenever you need to ground an image such as this. All right, and of course, I'm just going to go ahead and bring in my finished card. I have an extra little piece of cardstock that I stamped my sentiment in, and I just adhered that onto some Highland Heather. It went on the card in the exact same way we did before. And again, there on the back, I just added my sentiment. And friends, there you go. Such a fun card. I hope that you guys enjoyed these. You know, sometimes we just like to create a card that's just a little bit different. And I think these cards fit the bill beautifully. I love the images, the colors. And again, you can get creative with anything that you can put in that focal image on the front. Get creative. You're going to have a good time with these. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Hey, if you liked the video, would you do me a favor? A thumbs up on YouTube is always appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed, why not click that subscribe button, ring the bell? YouTube can let you know whenever I'm back with another video, and we'd love to have you join in. Well, friends, thank you again for being here. Do me a favor. Create this card, send it to a friend and brighten their day. It's going to go, that smile is going to go so far. It's so worth it. Have a fantastic rest of your day, my friends. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.